So my doctor's report, 28 years ago we opened, and I'm not into it yet. I'll try and tell you, like I kind of just want to do a little setup, and then I'll try to get into what I call get into state, which is like I'm not here teaching you. I'm here because you're here for my doctor's report, you know? I might come on the floor, I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. But yeah. Like your patients that I get to lay hands on every time and hopefully change their lives. But if I tell you how we went from a 0 office to at one point 900, now 700 office, this is the #1 reason. Dana Beck just said it very well this afternoon. Just pick one thing to do, and if it is, educate. Because for us, this is what a doctor's report meant. First of all, 1 patient equals 4 or 5 or 6 now. Minimum, if there's a family, it's when they decided they wanted to bring their family in because they had a much greater understanding of what we did. And when I first started this, I listened to, for years, I forget his name, up in New York. He was a good friend of my buddy, John Pajero. He's a little older than us. He's a New Beginnings guy, great guy. And we had his VHS. See some of the weird faces. Big old cassette tape with movies on it. And I would listen to it all the time. It was amazing to me. It just amazed me how well he laid it out. And it was long. When I started my practice, the doctor's report was between 45 minutes, an hour long. And then, like a lot of things in my life, in my practice, in my reportifying, everything I do, is I would continuously listen to the voice within. I don't know why, I always point right here. I'm not really sure why. And what I started noticing is that, on the first analogy of something, or second, people were on the edge of their seat. This is great information. And by the 6th, they were falling over, that's an exaggeration. But it was just repetitive information that I just simplified it down. The other thing to know about this is that I am not scripted. So this is different every time. I am what I call outlined. Where'd my outline go? Oh, here it is. So that's an outline. And it's amazing because still every Monday when I go out of the past the counter over to the front desk, I bring this out and I put it on the desk, and I never pick it up. But it's always there. It's kind of like a security band. So I forgot it when I was coming down. So thankfully, my wonderful staff, they were coming down this morning. They stopped and picked it up for me. But to do this it's one of the best ways to build a practice. See more kids, see more families, educate people on what it is, to really change people's lives, to keep them long-term, lifelong patients. But I look at it, like we would, Dr. McCauley was just saying from the stage, I really look at it like, you never know how far-reaching something you may think, say, or do can affect the lives of millions more. And I think that's why I'm so nervous right now, is because I know what this does for me, for my office, for my community. And I just hope I do a good enough job at it that something comes across to somebody that either inspires them to do it, starts them redoing it, doing it maybe differently or better. Not because I think mine is any better, but there might be people who haven't done anything in this. So I put a lot of weight on it. There's probably not one week that I don't hope everybody doesn't show up. Just being 100% transparent. 6:30 at night, 215 people in. I'm like, I could go upstairs right now, no doubt. But I've never finished one, bless you, Gilman. I've never finished one and not been fired up and just let's go. You'd think my little wee brain would remember that at the beginning, but it doesn't always. But at the end, I'm always fired up, man. Sometimes I think it's more for me than it is for them. And people who've been doing it for a long time I see a lot of heads nodding. So I'm gonna try and get into it right now. So I've got 24 minutes. I try to do this in 12 to 15 minutes. We'll see what it actually is. When I actually start, sometimes I'll jump out of the talk and explain something. Other times I'll just go right through when I've done it once or twice before, so we'll see what happens. But you know, the first day someone comes in, we go over and I tell them that we're going to do, I tell them, you know, first thing I grab their paper, you know, what's going on. They'll tell me, I'll put it down and say, listen, I don't know how to fix that. Your body does. If you're subluxated, I can. Some version of that. Today, what we're going to do is do an exam. If you're subluxated, we're going to do your first adjustment. That's all we'll do today. We're not going to go over it. Then I'll put together what I think from the exam and the first adjustment. We'll have you back a second visit. It's where we'll go over everything. I'll sit down, show you what we can do, how we do it, go over your x-rays, show you finances, and then you can make a decision on what you want to do. So they're already set up. People say, how do you get in there? You just expect everyone come. No. The vast majority do. We usually do it twice a week, Monday night, Thursday morning. I do Monday night, Dr. Becker does Thursday morning. And so that's how it is set up, okay? As you can see, again, to simplify. How do you get in there? Make it part of your procedure. Most people want to see their x-rays and find out what to do. And I tell them before they start that, yes, I'm going to get you adjusted. Why do I adjust them? Who doesn't adjust on the first visit? I do. Let me just give you put a little something in your ear. In my opinion, if you believe what you believe about subluxation, you should be asking somebody to make that decision at least a little bit less subluxated. So I always want to clear them out before I ask them if they want to come join the office for the rest of their lives. Okay? I'm not saying you to do it. I'm just saying that's my reasoning for doing it. Because I used to not do it. And I like this much, 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 much better. All right, so here we go. So I come out. Welcome, everybody. Dr. Brian Lieberman, I haven't met all of you, but welcome to the office. Welcome back. 28 years ago, my wife and I, we came down from New York, went to school, and then in '97, we came to Rome, knowing nobody. Drove down this broad street, saw a place for lease, signed a lease the next day, and opened our office. And in this time, we've become one of the busiest offices in Georgia, maybe in the country. And there's some reasons why, and that's kind of what I want to go over. That's why you're here. I'm going to try and take 12 to 15 minutes of your time. We won't go over any of your information out here. After we're done, we'll take you in the back and go over your private information with you. But when I think about why I want to do this, and I want you to sit through me talking, I look back I think about if you decided you wanted to go to the gym, all right, and your reasoning, and I'm not looking at anybody, is you wanted to lose weight because you already know that exercising can help you lose weight. Everybody knows that. When you go there, you talk to the gym owner, you want to sign up, he says, let me give you a tour, let me explain a little bit about what we do here and what exercise can help you do. And when he goes through and he says, you know, regular exercise, besides helping you lose weight, can also help you improve your heart function. True or false? True. It can also help you improve lung function. True or false? It's true. It can help you digest food better. It can help your immune system be stronger. It can help you sleep better. It's one of the best antidepressants on the planet. I'm pretty sure if you came in because you wanted to lose weight, and I just explained to you all these other kind of side benefits of what exercise can do, you probably wouldn't be that upset. Well, that's what I want to show you with chiropractic. People come into our office for a lot of reasons, and I feel like I'm going to ask you to make kind of decisions about things, and I want you to be able to make an educated decision. The only way to do that is for me to explain what we do. People come here for all sorts of reasons, and usually a lot of them, unless they're referred directly for something, they come in for back pain or neck pain, because that's what we've done a great job at teaching you that we do. And it can help that. But really, if I asked you right now, who here wants to be healthier? Everybody raise their hand. Who here wants to use less drugs, medications, and surgery? Everybody raise their hands. What we have found is this. We have an issue. We have one of the most overdrugged, and this is not going to be a bash medicine all bad, chiropractic all good. It's not what the talk's going to be. It's going to be about why do we have one of the worst health care outcomes on the entire planet? That's just facts. That's not chiropractors talking. We just have, this is a sick, unhealthy nation that uses a ton of drugs and surgery. And if drugs and surgery were working so well, we'd have better outcomes. I call it a return on investment. We spend more money than any other country on the planet on health per person and overall, and we have some of the worst health outcomes, literally. And here's one of the things that really we have come with that we feel like one of the biggest problems is we don't know what health is. If I asked you right now, somebody give me a definition. If I asked you, who wants to be rich? And I said, what does it mean to be rich? You probably all could give me a number or give me something that would make you know that you're all wealthy. But if I said, who wants to be healthy? And everybody says yes. What is health? And a lot of times at this point, somebody will say, exercising, eating. And I'll say, no, those are ways to possibly get healthy. But what are you trying to get to? And I'll tell you, most of the time, people will say something like not being sick, feeling good. And that's how, listen here, World Health Organization and a lot of medical dictionaries define health as this: 100% function, mentally, physically, spiritually, and not merely the absence of disease or symptoms. Just not having a symptom doesn't mean you're healthy. Just not having a disease doesn't mean you're healthy. Number one killer in America, anybody know? Heart disease. 40% of the time, what's the first symptom that person has? They drop dead of a heart attack. Most people, when I do this, know somebody who didn't know they were sick. If this person dropped dead on Tuesday and felt good on Monday, were they healthy on Monday? No. But we've been led to believe, and it's mostly a Western philosophy, that if you don't feel good, if you feel good, then you're healthy. If you don't feel good, you're sick. Most people wake up in the morning. If they feel good, they think they're fine. If they don't feel good and they have some big symptom, what are they most likely going to do? A lot of people, most people. What? What if they don't know what to take? Don't have a drug. What do they do first? They go to the doctor. Okay? Most of the time, what does that doctor do? Gives them a drug. That's how we base most of what we do healthcare decisions. If I went out to eat down the street here, and I ordered fish, and they didn't cook it enough, I didn't know this. There was a bacteria on it that's foreign to my body, that my body doesn't like. What would you want a healthy body to do with that fish? How? First thing, back up. Now, is throwing up fun? It's a symptom. Usually doesn't feel good, but the most appropriate thing for it. If it gets past this level, it might come out the other end in a not so comfortable way. And let's just say that it doesn't get out all of that bacteria, and now that bacteria starts dividing into multiple, and then becomes what? An infection. What's one of the first things that you're going to see or feel when your body develops an infection? Fever. Why? Bacteria and virus cannot live and reproduce in a warm environment. And your body is so stinking smart that without you knowing, it knew that you ate something that was not good for that body, that then developed into infection, and then your body knows that the best way to start fighting that infection is to elevate the temperature. And then once the infection is down to a normal level, what normally happens to the fever? It drops. What do most of us do when we have a fever? Take something to bring it down. In most instances, the dumbest thing you can do. You talk about faith, you talk about the body, you talk about God, that this was put in the body to fight for your ability to stay alive. Problem is, health is a state of 100% function. And when you develop a fever, that's good. You know when I get worried? When your kid has an ear infection and doesn't get a fever. That's when I worry. That's a sick body. So now, if we can somewhat, just in that small amount of time, come to an agreement or understand that health is more a state of how you're functioning than how you're just feeling, then the next question is, what controls all function? What controls all function of the human body? And if you've been here once or twice, you might already know the answer. Your nervous system. Made up of your brain, which becomes your spinal cord, which is inside the spine, and in between each of the 24 vertebrae, a pair of nerves come out that control and coordinate every function of the human body. Just so you know, we have not talked about chiropractic one bit yet. This is all anatomy, physiology, medical, research, none of this. Here's where it becomes chiropractic. Those bones of your spine are movable. Each one has a disc in between, and you're able to move. If you had a solid tube and we drilled holes in the side of it and nerves came out, there would be no chance of changing any type of relationship between the hole and that nerve. But then this would be your range of motion. Most people laugh at that. But it's not, so that we can move. These things are fully movable. With that, they can misalign and get stuck in a misaligned position and sometimes put pressure on the nervous system and disrupt the communication from the brain to the body and the body back to the brain. We call this a subluxation. Big fancy word that means misalignment interferes with the nervous system. Not all misalignments are subluxations. All subluxations have misalignment. And our job is to have you come in the office for us to check. Walking through my front door does not mean you're subluxated, even if I told you today to come in, but to go through a set of criteria where we check leg length, leg raise, arm fossa test, temperature both sides, see if it's balanced, to see if you are subluxated, if there's interference at that time. And if you are, then we do an adjustment, not a manipulation, not a crack, not a pop, but an adjustment to try to restore better alignment and allow the brain to communicate with the body and the body to the brain better than it did before. And then after we do the adjustment, we go back and recheck the things that told us that you had interference. Making noise in your spine is not an adjustment. I can teach you all how to release gas. It's cavitation of a joint. It feels better, releases some pressure. Doesn't mean it's gotten pressure off the nervous system. So unless we go back and recheck that short leg, that inability to leg raise, temperature difference is now balanced, then we know we made a change in neurology. And that's a chiropractic adjustment. I think that's one of the things that sets our office apart from a lot of offices that are around, not necessarily in this area, just overall, is that we have a criteria to know when to adjust and when not. You know what the ultimate goal in this office is? You come in, we check you, you don't need to be adjusted, you're clear. That's when we high five. Because if I turn on that light switch over there, rubbing the wall doesn't make it any brighter, and I'm not going to do it for you. We'll celebrate together that now you are in a state. Now, can you still have symptoms with that? Heck yeah. But you're in a state where your body has a better chance of what? Healing. And I mentioned that switch. That's a toggle switch. That's on off. Thank God it's not really like that as far as subluxated, not subluxated, live, dead, right? Because with that switch, I always find it amazing. Georgia Power produces electricity over at a plant, miles and miles and miles away. From that plant to these light bulbs, there is an uninterrupted wire. If anywhere along that wire it gets interrupted, this light doesn't work. Pretty impressive how often it does work. But if I went over there right now and I flipped the switch off, I didn't shut down Georgia Power. The electricity coming right to that switch is 100%, but the amount coming out of it is 0%. Now again, thankfully that's not kind of how it is in the body, but if I replace that with a dimmer switch, it's probably the best analogy I can give you for what we do. Because if I turn that dimmer switch down to 80%, only 80% of electricity is going through this. What's the best I could expect this light to function at? 80%. And I don't know how to produce electricity. I have no clue. But I know how to remove the interference from it. I don't know how to change the flow of that intelligence that we talked about earlier. That intelligence that knows. When I had some land, I used to work out in the yard. End of the day, I would come in and I'd see like a drip of blood sometimes, like down my leg, down the bottom part of my leg when I was wearing shorts. And basically what happened was, without me realizing it, I brushed my leg into something, I cut the skin on my leg, I started bleeding, I didn't know, my body did, the intelligence within me knew that I was bleeding, knew to start sending all these different things to that area, to start clotting it, to prevent infection, to swelling, to bring in some more blood to the area, and then it starts scabbing, and then a week later, what does it look like? Like it never happened. Some people say scar. How many of the cuts you've had on your hand cause a scar? Very few, if none. It's got to be pretty bad. But let's say it was a bigger cut, wide open, went to the hospital, and they decided to put stitches in it. Do stitches cause healing? No. If I took a dead person right here and I cut their leg, they just died, they will bleed. But guess what they won't do? Heal. That intelligence, whatever you want to call it, starts from conception where sperm and an egg come together, but leaves when the body's dead. During the time it's there, your body has the ability to heal, reproduce, not just create a baby from 2 cells. Always blows my mind. Sperm, egg, I don't care if you've don't know how to read, don't know how to write, you're in the deepest parts of the jungle. Sperm, egg come together in the right environment. Guess what happens almost 10 months later? A baby's born. 10 fingers, 10 toes, not all the time, but most of the time. 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, 1 heart. Most of us look identical. Forget about color and height and weight and all that stuff. I'm talking about all the parts and pieces are pretty incredible that from a sperm and an egg, those come out because of the intelligence within you. So where do you think possibly the first subluxation, that first misalignment, might occur? Nobody says that. Nice try. Actually, the birth process. How many people here have seen birth? Nice and gentle? Here's a question. I come in 5 seconds after this doctor delivered your baby, and I do exactly what the doctor did to your baby's neck. What do you do to me? Not so happy? Why not? Because innately, we understand that this part is very vulnerable and needs to be protected. You hand a baby to somebody, what are you supporting and holding? You don't care. If an arm flops, nobody's jumping off tables, whoa! But you support that in the head and neck, because innately, you don't even know why, but you know it's important. And it is. This upper cervical is probably the most important part of the spine. They call it Houston control. It controls so many different aspects of healing, of breathing, of blood pressure, of digestion. It's incredible. Because the brainstem can come down to in between the first and second bone. First bone is called atlas. Anybody remember what atlas did? Did I run out of time? Or are we just getting a new show here? What's new in Stream Deck? Sorry. What was I saying? So Atlas. So Atlas, in Greek mythology, Randa, do I have time? What's going on? We don't know? Okay. In Greek mythology, Atlas held up the world. This is your world. This is your globe. This is where everything, the most important part, and that atlas holds that up. 90% what we do, we're full spine practitioner. We check the entire spine. But 90% of what we do, 90% of the miracles that come in this office will come from changing up here. I don't care what you come in for, we're going to make sure this is good. So we welcome, that's why we see so many kids. That's why 40% of this office is children. And I kind of joke, half joke. I had one person in 28 years actually get mad at me because I said, I'm using you to get to your kids. I tell that to everybody. I'm using you to get to your kids, or your grandkids, or your neighbor's kids. Because one of the biggest things I want to see is every kid checked from birth. It's amazing to hear the stories of a parent who, when their kid was 2 years old, was sick, and somebody referred them to our office. We started adjusting them. Their whole lives changed. Read the walls. You can see story after story. Okay? So a kid comes in ear infections, and they get better. Do I know how to heal ear infections? Not a clue. I don't know how to heal anything. Oh, chiropractors think they can heal everything. We're probably the only profession that understands that we can't heal anything. But you know who can? You. And the intelligence within you. That's our job. But we're using you to try to get to your kids because I want to see when the parent brings in the first one, the kid gets well, then they have their second baby, and miraculously, this kid's the healthiest kid on the planet. And you get to see the differences in a kid who gets to grow up with less pressure on their nervous system and how they flourish and how they look differently. So basically, and I forgot to tell you this at the beginning, but because I like to make sure we get this out of the way at the front, I'm trying to get you to be in our office for the rest of your life. Oh, no. And I would have told you that I hope by the end of the talk you understand why. Because if I was a gym owner right now and you said, well, how long should I work out for? And he said, the rest of your life, you would be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's probably a good idea. That's the same thing in here. And I'm basically going to try and do 4 things. I'm going to try and educate you on why you would want lifelong care for you, your family, and anybody else you know. 2, I'm going to try and get you results. And hopefully, results you don't expect. If you come in for low back pain, your low back feels better, wonderful. You come in, your low back feels better, and you're moving your bowels more normally, you're sleeping better, and you feel great. Now you maybe you're listening to what I'm saying. It's one of the reasons I love adjusting babies and animals. I don't have to fight through the educated. Right now, you're sitting there going, is he right? Is it true? Does he want my money? A baby doesn't. When a mom brings a baby into me that sleeps 2 hours in a stretch and then cries for 2 hours, and then we do this and they sleep for 15 hours, you don't have to talk to her about anything else. They don't want research, they want it. It's good. So I want to get you results. 3, I want to make it convenient for you to get care. We go back and forth with this, but basically, we set up number of days, hopefully the day, but then there's open hours. You can come in while we're open. We're a walk-in. We don't do appointments for adjustments, just for special new patients and things like that. And 4, we're going to try and make it affordable. Majority of our office pays by time, either a month or a year at a time. There's no contracts ever in our office, but it makes it less expensive to come in. We also have 2 fees, individual, entire family. And yes, we're tested. We have a family, I believe, about to have their 9th child or 10th? 9th child. But how do I sit up here and tell you that I think this is one of the most important things you can do for your family, for your kids, and then make it absolutely not affordable for you to bring your damn kid. I don't say damn, to bring your kids. That was me yelling at you people for making fees that are ridiculous because you think you're so damn important and that people aren't bringing their kids in and they're sick and dying at home because you're worth $600, $800, $900 a month. Kiss my ass. So, sorry. And if I do those 4 things well, you'll be here a long time. You can see this wall is filled. We have about 24 families that have been with us regularly for over 20 years. I think it's like 150 that have been, there's nothing over there. I'm just doing it. It's over in my wall. I see he's looking over. I was like, there's like 150 who've been here over 10 years and like 200 and something that are here over 5 years. This is a long-term family practice. Not because we lock the door and tag your ear, but because we try to do those 4 things and do them really well and stay focused on what we do. I will not try to be your physical therapist. I will not try to be your nutritionist. I will not try to be your exercise physiologist. I will just try to be your chiropractor. And hopefully, I taught you enough now that you realize the importance of that to add to your life. We're going to go ahead and take you back in the order you got here. It's the fairest way we know how. There's 3 of us. It won't take long. A few minutes to go over your stuff. Let you decide or not decide. You don't have to make a decision tonight. It's completely up to you. I always ask if there's any questions. There usually isn't. But I'll ask you. So that's the end of my doctor's report. So, because I have a screen here of, I don't even know what. I don't know how much, if there's any time, but questions?
What time do you do your lecture?
6:30 Monday evening, and then 9 o'clock on Thursday? 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. Other questions?
Then you just take. You do your second adjustment after?
Yes. So then I take them back, go over their x-rays, go over finances, get a commitment from them, and then take them over, do their second adjustment, bring them up front, drop them off to the front, let them take care of everything else. Thank you. Harding? No, I'm sorry.
If there's 4 or 5 people, you just have them wait.
Yeah, so now there's 3 of us. But when I used to do it myself, yeah, there could be 6 people, 5 people waiting. We, when it was me and Dr. Rebecca, we usually try to limit to like 6 people, maybe 7, because a lot of times 1 won't show up or something, and we could handle 2 or 3, in a reasonable amount of time. Usually after the doctor's report, everybody's pretty, for the most part, that's not every time, pretty fired, like they're kind of in. Now they're talking to each other and stuff like that and put the music back on. Usually goes pretty well. I'm not up front, so they might be really uncomfortable and yelling at them. I have no idea. So I'm in the back, so I don't care. But it seems like it goes okay.
Do you ever pull out your spine and show
Well,
structural misalignment?
So I always have my wonderful staff put a dry spine right there, and I'd say 2 out of 10 times I touch it. But yes, sometimes I will show a misalignment, Usually I'll show it during the consult, when I'm just telling them about the basics. So, but yeah, I recommend you do. I used to do a whiteboard, and then now it's like simple, get to them. This is what I want. I want a connection. I want energy. We went to what's his name? Walter Sanchez to go see his doctor's report, and other people have said this. We get there, he starts, and it's in Spanish. I'm like, I have no clue what he's saying. But you could see these people. I mean, they could speak Spanish, but you just felt the love from him no matter what. It's the energy, the love, the compassion, the authority, but with just humility and love and just all that. Yeah. Other questions? Yes, sir.
As a patient, what your lecture has to do with my shoulder pain?
Oh, that sounds so good. I'm sorry, one more time.
What's your lecture has to do with my shoulder pain?
Oh, okay. So I would have already have told you, if you came in the first day and said, I got shoulder pain. Listen, there's a few things that can cause shoulder problems. You could just have a torn rotator cuff. Now, my job is to see if there's anything in the nervous system, usually lower neck, that goes to those arms and shoulders that is causing that pain or causing it not to heal well. So and then I will ask them if they still want to go forward. Because I won't tell them I'm going to fix your shoulder pain. But even if they come with low back pain, I say, I don't know how to fix low back pain. Your body does. Let's see if less interference can do it. In the meantime, one of my favorite things I always tell people is, I can't guarantee your shoulders will get better, but I guarantee you'll be better under my care. Right? And then they can make a decision. And that's no joke. I will, in the consult, say, listen, I understand. And sometimes my Latino patients, they don't speak English great. I speak some Spanish, so we'll get it by. But they'll come in from knee pain. They just hurt on the soccer field. And I'll tell them that same thing. I still think it's better for you and that you'll do better under my care, and it certainly will heal better if you're clear. Do you want to do that? And most of them do. I've had a couple that did not, and I referred them. So, right? Answer your question? Cool. Other questions? I appreciate your time. Love you guys.